Okay, so this video is for the very first step after you learn to do threading before you start the seam sample for all of my classes. The first thing you want to do is you want to get a very small scrap of fabric because we're just going to practice doing a straight line. So if you go ahead and look, there should be a bin like this over underneath the window, and it will have all of the little tiny scraps in it that aren't really good for anything else. A lot of them might be a little crazy, so you can go ahead and cut them and even them out if you want. And if you want to iron it so that it's flat, you're welcome to do that as well. You want to make sure that before you start to sew that you have at least one straight line to work off of, because you're going to need to use that straight line in order to practice keeping it lined up. So I always have my students start practicing on the 5/8 line so they get used to that, keeping it lined up there, because a lot of sewing has you do it at the 5/8 line. So after everything's set, you make sure you have your right settings, A, 2.5, 3, take a lever should be out, everything's threaded correctly. You're ready to start your practice sample. So you're just gonna have at least one straight line or close enough to straight on a little piece of scrap like this. Then you're gonna take the edge and you're gonna look on your needle plate right here. You're gonna see that there are several little lines, okay? So there is, the first line is the 1/2 inch. The second one is, the first line is the 1/4 inch. The second one is the 4/8, which is the 1/2 inch. And the third one is the 5/8. So you're gonna be lining it up with that 5/8 one today, okay? So if you're having a hard time seeing the 5/8, you can take like a crayon or a marker. I had a crayon right here a second ago. There it is. You can take a crayon or a marker and you can overline it right there. Do not use permanent marker though, like a Sharpie, because that'll mess up my machine. But if you use like a washable marker, it's fine. So you're gonna go ahead and just line that up with the 5/8. So you're gonna take the straight edge of your fabric, you're gonna line it up, the long edge along that 5/8 line, and you're gonna take the press foot, you're gonna put it down. So this presser foot lever lifter controls it. You're gonna put that down. You're gonna line the short edge up with the hole in the presser foot. So it's gonna look like this. So you can see that this long edge here is lined up with that 5/8 line, and the short edge is pretty close. I'll probably actually make it a little bit farther down to the circle, which is like this oval in your presser foot, okay? So, all right, so now you're going to go forward a few stitches, and then you're gonna hold down this lever. It's called the reverse lever. You're gonna hold that down and go back a little bit. This is to do something called back stitching. Back stitching is important so that your stitches don't come out. So you're gonna keep it lined up here. You don't have to push your fabric, it moves out on its own. You just kind of steer it with your fingertips. And you're just going to keep it lined up with that 5/8 line. And then when you get to the edge, you're going to do your back stitching again. So you're gonna hold that reverse lever and it'll go back a little bit, and then you go forward off the edge. One mistake students do is they think they're supposed to go all the way down and all the way back. That's not the case. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, if you look right here, you just go forward a little bit, then back, then forward all the way down, and then back a little bit at the edge, and then forward. What you need to do at this time is you're gonna have the teacher check you off to make sure that it's correct, and if it's correct, you can just go ahead and throw away this little scrap, or you can cut off the extra stitching and keep practicing if you want to do that as well. But make sure you have the teacher check you off before moving on. When you finish this, then you can move on to cutting out your seam, cutting out your sample pieces. All right, that's it for this one.